I remember one time when I was a little girl, I overheard, well, I don't even think I overheard. This conversation happened right next to me. Like it was a deliberate conversation. And honestly, I feel like it kind of changed the course of my life for a little bit. And now I'm changing it back, right? And the conversation was, I had to be younger than 8. I know I was younger than 8. And my stepmother was talking to someone, and she said to them, she's so selfish. And she was talking about me. She's like, she's so selfish. And the woman she was talking to was like, oh, she'll grow out of that. And I've been doing a lot of deep reflecting, inner healing, analyzing myself, and just seeing why I am where I am in life and what do I need to do to get out of it. And this is all stories and topics that'll come up in a later date. But I realized that after that conversation, I tried and I successfully, for the longest, did everything in my power to go above and beyond for other people, even at the expense of myself, because I didn't want to be selfish, because being selfish was something that was bad. I replaced that, what was perceived as selfish, with selfless. And I do think there are times where being selfless is virtuous. It's something that is definitely, I think it's good. I don't think going above and beyond and helping other people is something negative. But I think at the detriment to yourself is when it's like, no, don't do that. And for a long time, from that point up until more recently this year, I did everything everyone else around me wanted to do. If you call me with a problem, I would drop everything to come running. If you needed something, I will give you everything, even if it meant you were in a better position, but I wasn't, as long as I would help you, right? Because I didn't want to be selfish, because being selfish was wrong. So I've been doing more reflecting and learning, and I've been learning about like your ego, your alter ego, your inner, shadow work, and all these different things, your psychology, everything. And I realized in nature, like my I guess my fundamental, I am not selfish, because I know I'm very generous. I am self-preserving instinctively, meaning I will always make the decision that best suits me instinctively. Even when it doesn't make sense, even when I don't know why I'm doing it, I will do that. And that part of me, it honestly, it really didn't even kick off or ignite until earlier this year. And once I started to really channel into that natural self-preserving fundamental characteristic trait I have, man, my life improved. It really improved. And like I said, I made some decisions and it didn't even make sense. It didn't make sense to me at the moment. It didn't make sense to anyone, from the outside looking in. But now the dust has settled months later, it was literally the best decision for me. And that was something instinctively I knew to make that decision. And a few months ago, the beginning of this year, if you were the outside looking in and you saw the decision I made, you would have said I was selfish. Everyone would have said it. Everyone did say I was selfish. They called me all types of names and ran with all different types of stories about me. But look at me months later. I'm sitting pretty. I'm sitting in a better position. I'm sitting ahead of where I was. Literally, I would say for maybe a good 6 to 7 years, my life was at a stagnant standstill. And I made one selfish decision. And because of that, my life is moving fast forward motion in the direction that I have been just dreaming and desiring for so long. I didn't even know it was possible. It's beautiful to see, right? I think being selfish, I don't know. Well, first, I think people mislabel selfishness, because it's not always a bad thing. But I also think people mislabel selfishness with self-preserving. And I do think that there's some people, not even some people, I do think a majority of people who are, who believe being selfish is bad, and they go, because being selfish is an extreme. So the other extreme is being selfless. So when people go to the extremes of being selfless, they look at other people who are able to make decisions that benefit them as something's wrong with them, because it's like they can't do it. And if that's something, if they can't do it, why should you be able to do it? And I think a lot of jealousy comes from that. Being able to put yourself first, people will be envious and jealous of you, because they might not always do that for themselves. But it's honestly, it's a superpower. And like I said, for the longest, like my entire life, I was so selfless. I was so selfless. I was so selfless, and I helped everyone but myself. And everyone else around me was good and, in happy places, but I wasn't. But it all started from a conversation, it was meant to kind of shame me from who I was, And I remember I was in my early 20s, and I was like talking to my dad, and I was like, I'm just really so unhappy. Like, it was like when you're not being true to yourself, you will never be happy. When you're not being true to yourself, you will never be happy. And it will blow your mind how when you start being true to yourself, even when things, you may not have everything that you want, you will still have the happiness because you are still being true to yourself, right? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I hope that didn't go over anyone's head. But yeah, you guys, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope you're learning something from it. And even if you're not, I'm having fun making this. I'm having fun hearing my own voice. So I'll see you in the next video.